Oh, Patty, your days are numbered.
They sure are.
It's slowly counting down to the end of the school year.
That's right.
So let's go ahead and get this week's Midweek Update started. Boy, that was awkward. So how's everybody doing? Hopefully you had a great Easter weekend. We got to spend time with family and friends, and the weather was not very nice on Saturday.
But it was a nice turnout on Sunday.
Absolutely.
We had really nice weather, beautiful.
Absolutely.
Couldn't have asked for better weather on Sunday.
And now we're on to another week.
Yep.
So do you know roughly how much time you got left?
I know how many days.
Okay, Patty always knows the exact number of days. I'm always in generalities. Like, I think I have about 2 weeks left. So
28 days.
28 days. The countdown is on.
Yes.
But you know what that means? That means you can't be more than, what, 34, 35?
Right, because I get out really close to when
you camp starts. So.
Yeah.
All right. So, hey, I did want to mention, I went out on the internet and I checked, and there are a few sites available at all three of our campouts left. So if anybody's interested in camping with us, either in Iowa in June, or in Oregon in late June, early July, or October down in Virginia, you can check all that information out over on our website, travelswithdelaney.com. Just click that tab at the top that says Meetups and Campouts, and you can find out where we're going to be. And if you'd like to join us, we'd love to have you. So,
sure, definitely.
And also, last week we talked about this YouTube summit.
Yeah.
And I think this thing's going to happen. I'm moving along in the planning process. We actually have a poll up over on YouTube in the community tab. So if you're interested in attending our small channel YouTube summit in September, I've listed, I think, like 4 different weekends to try to get a sense for what weekend would work best for everybody. Yeah. We got a squirrely puppy.
I got a kisser here.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what Truman's doing. So he's really alive, I promise. You wouldn't think so the way he's hanging on my. But I have 4 weekends, so maybe check that out if you're interested in attending. And again, this will be just a chance for anyone who either has a small YouTube channel or maybe wants to start one to attend. We're just going to have sessions where everybody who has a channel that's attending, we're going to ask you to provide a short talk, if you would, on areas that you think you're really strong in, and we'll just do a lot of sharing and a lot of collaborating. And again, Randy from Randy's Adventures, check her channel out. She has volunteered to do the SEO talk, or the search engine optimization talk for Google. I'm going to let Truman down so he can go chase shadows. And so anyway, I think it'll be a good weekend, and I'm actually looking at now Shipshewana as actually the location. There's a campground there I'm going to go check out. They have a pavilion. I want to see how good the Wi-Fi is, but it would just be a really nice location so that we can do some work, but we can also have some fun and some really good Amish cooking.
Yes, so, definitely.
This week's small channel highlight, we started this. And don't worry, I know there's a lot of you that would like the shout out, and we will get to you. But again, I want to do 1 a week, and I actually have a pretty long list. The other thing is, I think we talked about this, we want to shout out channels that we actually watch. So if you're new to our channel, we'll check you out, but it may be a while because we do have a lot of small channels that follow us, and we want to help them out. But this week, I really wanted to help out Jerry and Teresa over at the Happy Place Diaries. Now, they just started their channel back in, I think it was November. But Jerry actually reached out to me and asked me, just kind of like, is it frustrating in the beginning trying to get subscribers and making content? They're sharing their lives. And so I wanted to give them a shout out. So I've been watching some of their videos, and I love it because they're not full time. They're like us. They're weekenders, and they're trying to find their happy place through their trailer, and it's awesome. In fact, one of the videos I enjoyed watching was Jerry did a video on camping at Disneyland, which is something we've kind of talked about. So go over, check out Happy Place Diaries. Please subscribe to them. Let's get them to 100 so they can get their URL. And I told Jerry in the email, I think I told him this, the first 100 to me was the hardest.
Yeah, it seemed to take forever.
I mean, it seems like it's taken forever to get to where we're at, and we're approaching a big number, which we're not going to talk about because it just jinxes it.
Yeah, don't do it.
But I felt that first 100 was probably the most difficult. So, and Great Family Escape, they're over 100 now. And so I think Luke and Becky, they're going to see their channel really take off. So, but if we can help out Jerry and Teresa, get them to 100, they'll get that URL. And so, anyway. All right, mail time. There is none. Okay, moving right along. You like that? But we had everybody on Facebook is great. Whenever I put out an announcement, like early in the morning, like this morning, like I don't know what time it was early. I put an announcement on our Facebook page saying, if you have a question for tonight's episode recording, post it. And I was hoping to get 3 or 4.
Oh my gosh, you got
a bunch. So I thought what we'd do is, since we have no mail, let's see if we can get through as many of these as possible. And we're going to do them, and this is tough for me, we're going to do them rapid fire, where I'm going to try to answer quickly. So that's the way we're going to do this. So Patty's going to read the questions. If it's a question that she would prefer to answer, then I'll let her answer. But I know you've already said the technical questions.
I was looking at them going, these are your questions.
Yeah. So, okay. So whenever you're ready, you can be like Alex Trebek.
Okay. It's from Carolyn. She asked, do you use a wheel lock, and if so, what type?
We do not. We do not use a wheel lock. We actually use a pin lock. And we also use a ball lock on the front. Again, don't know how secure those are going to be. Probably not nearly as good as those wheel locks, but significantly cheaper. And I really look at it as more of theft.
Deterrent.
That's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
How much does the Tab 400 affect your gas mileage?
About, I would say, 8 to 9 miles a gallon less. We usually get about 11.5 miles pulling the trailer, 11.5 miles per gallon pulling the trailer. I get about 19.5 to 20 when I'm not pulling the trailer on the highway.
Okay.
So.
And Carolyn had one more question.
Okay.
Why did you choose the sunshade over the attachable awning or tent?
You want to answer that one?
Well, my original thought was we didn't want the tent. We just wanted a space to step out so that you wouldn't get like rained on, or if the sun was beating down, it kind of helped shade that side of the trailer. So that's kind of why we went with, I think.
And I wanted something that I could put up quickly and tear down quickly. True. And everything I'd read about the bigger awnings or tents
they take a little more time.
They take a little more time. I literally can have that sunshade up in 2 minutes.
And I know we really debated on getting the one. We got one from Doty Hill.
Yep.
And we debated on getting one, period, just because
we didn't know if we'd use it.
Yeah. And my goodness, we've used it a ton.
Yeah. Yeah, we really debated because I kept saying, are we just going to, they're not cheap.
No.
And, are we going to buy this? This is going to be one of those things that just sits in the storage.
Nope.
We use it almost every time, unless it's really windy out or something. But
really windy
that's how
conditions,
easy that sunshade is.
We take it down, yeah. It's so easy. All right. Moving on from Mike. Do you still have the stock main exhaust fan? And it says, we're thinking about replacing ours with a Max Air Deluxe setup for use during rain.
Okay, now I know what he means. He's talking about the fantastic fan and the fan and the... Yeah, I'll tell you what, we do still have the ones that came with the 400, but we saw last year at UCamp someone who had changed out both of them to those Max Air Deluxe ones with the rain sensors. Very nice. That's all I'm going to say. Super quiet, very nice. It's just not in our budget right now.
No, it's not.
So.
And they're so cool because they get flat.
Yeah, so they give you that nice low profile when you're traveling, because that's why we haven't put like a Max Air cover on, because I just don't like the looks of it on the tab.
Yeah,
we've always had Max Air covers up until the tab.
But we just don't like the look of it.
Right.
All right, from Jody. Traveling with dogs, do's and don'ts. How do you find dog-friendly RV parks?
Well, actually,
every park
we've ever been to has been pet friendly. Now, I've heard people say there's some out there, but in general, we've never encountered a park that was not pet friendly. Now, they all have, some will have restrictions. Right. We have seen that where, usually it's things like no Dobermans, no Rottweilers. Right. We even saw some that with like no German Shepherd. But with our 2 Munchkins, that's never been an issue. Campgrounds are much, much, much more pet friendly than hotels are in general. So, and the app that I use to find our campgrounds is almost always Allstays.
Right.
And there's an actual blog post over on our website, travelswithdelaney.com. If you're not familiar with Allstays, you can go check that out.
Okay, from Susan. Where did you get your refill tanks for the freshwater and the gray tank, and what size did you get?
Okay, I think when she means refill is she's talking about when we need to get water when we're boondocking. Right. I actually picked our water tank up. Didn't I get that at Menards?
That's what I thought.
Either Menards or Rural King.
I think,
most places will sell those
Yeah.
water cans, and ours is a 5-gallon. So I just put in 5 gallons at a time. And honestly, what I found is if we're going to be boondocking for, let's say, 5 nights like we did at Denny Creek last summer, I don't wait till we're out and then have to do 30 gallons all at
Right.
once. Remember, I used to do
Yep.
about 5 gallons a day.
Right.
And that seemed to keep us, there was a couple
Right.
days I'd put 10 in.
Okay.
The gray tank, I originally had ordered a 5 or a 6 gallon blue tank. It's those blue tanks that everybody uses for getting rid of waste. This one just has a handle. It doesn't have wheels or anything. And I ordered that on Amazon, and I believe it's on our Amazon page. If you go to amazon.com/shop/travels with Delaney, I believe it's in there under RV gear. But I'll be honest, I don't even use that anymore, and I'm really thinking about selling it when we go to UCamp at the swap meet. What I now use is I just carry a 5-gallon bucket that you can pick up at Home Depot, Lowe's. I got mine at Menards. They charge you $3-4 for them. I carry it in the tub where our propane tank is. I'm able to store things in it. But if I do need to take gray water out, I just get the 5-gallon bucket out. And I found for us personally that just works better.
Yeah.
And it's multi-purpose.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, from Kelly. She says, I want to add shelves in the cabinets, but don't want to drill holes. Suggestions you have used and worked to increase storage. I bought stackable shelves, but I'm concerned they will bounce all around. I thought of using command strips to secure them, but they say not to use on wallpaper.
That's, I'll be honest, we don't like drilling holes either, Kelly. In fact, I drilled my first hole in the 400 this week.
Yep.
Well, that's a whole nother story. But we didn't install shelves either. And I'll tell you, in our 400, those upper cabinets above the sink and the stove, there's a lot of room. And so we just bought some wire racks. They're just like these metal wire racks that you just set up there.
Got a rubber
texture.
That way they kind of stay in place.
Yep.
And then we put things on that.
And we put shelf liner, that rubber shelf liner, keep them in place. And the thing is, once you stack stuff on them, I think that pretty much holds the weight, holds them down. So you might just try those, because that's worked really well for us. And we've used those before in other trailers. So just those little wire racks. And what it'll do is it'll split that upper cabinet. You can kind of have then like an upper section and a lower section.
Right. We put the heavier stuff on the bottom, the lighter weight stuff on the top.
Yeah, and every now and then, if it's a really bumpy ride, some things will fall off. But for the most part, it works fine.
All right, Melody asked, do you have a setup or a pack-up checklist?
Yes. It's right here.
It's in my head. I mean, I don't write it down.
Yeah, and I'll be honest, it's just because we've done this for so many years.
15.
But I have seen, if you go on either the tab group or the tab tag something group on Facebook, I've seen where there's some people who have shared their list and you can just print them off. But no, between Patty and I, Patty is really good about double checking what I've done, and I kind of double check what she tends to do the inside, I do the outside, and she always does the check before we pull away to make sure lights are working and chains are hooked up.
And the outside doors are locked, and the steps are up and everything. I kind of do a double check on him to make sure everything's good. The pin's hooked and everything. Right. Yeah.
But if you want a checklist, like I said, go on the Facebook groups for like tab owners or tab tag owners, and you should find a checklist there.
Okay, from Lisa. We're getting ready to purchase a sunshade from Doty Hill and wonder how your sunshade has held up in the intense sun, rain, and wind. Also wonder which material will last longer. The printed fabric is cute, but concerned it may fade and not as water repellent. Looking forward to some sunshade advice. Well, we love our sunshade from Doty Hill. It's
Absolutely.
So easy to set up and take down.
And the quality
is amazing.
Because remember, we picked out the solid red, and I've seen like boat awnings that are red and they fade so bad. Yeah. This thing is still bright red. The quality is top notch. Now, I don't know that we can answer the question about the printed fabric versus the solid. And that would just be a question for Jean over at Doty Hill. If you just message her and ask her if she has any opinion on that. But we just went with the solid. That I think the material we picked out was supposed to be more waterproof or water resistant. I can't remember which.
Whatever it is, it does a great job. And if it does get wet, it dries so fast.
It dries, and even when it's been put away wet, no signs of mildew or mold. No. The stitching is still good, because I kind of wondered how... Jean makes an incredible product, in my opinion. Her and her husband, they kind of tag teamed. I remember her saying he makes the poles and the oh my gosh, the stakes they give you. top notch.
Yeah.
And she's just a wonderful lady.
Yep,
But
yep.
so yeah, we are completely thrilled with that.
Yeah, so ours has really held up, and we were in some really sunny areas last summer, so
Yeah.
it's great. Okay, Joe, how many meals do you prepare in your trailer, and how many do you prepare ahead of time at home, or do you eat out more? Well, I could say we don't really prepare any at home before we leave, but we do prepare, like, you always get around, like, some things we might want to have, like steaks or brats, or
We pack,
pack
food, but we
food.
don't necessarily make meals.
Right.
And the other thing is, because I did see a couple comments on our video this week of Myrtle Beach, like, well, you got a camper, why don't you cook? The truth is, that trip to Myrtle Beach was a vacation.
Yeah, that was not a normal camp out type of trip.
That was, we are in the last stretch of our school year. We are exhausted, worn out. And so, and the other thing that we didn't show in that video, which you can't show everything, is we only ate out once a day.
We would have our breakfasts in.
And, except for the mornings we went out to breakfast.
Right, we had
but
a
then
few
we
mornings, and then we had some snacks and some sandwiches that we would make. That way we weren't always eating out.
Right.
But it was a true vacation where we wanted to do certain foods out, and it wasn't like a regular camping trip.
Right. So this summer, though, when we're gone for 6 weeks,
Yeah, we won't be
we're
eating
on a
out very
budget.
much,
We're on a really tight budget because I'm not working this summer, so we have no income per se other than what we bring in through this. And so we will primarily eat in the trailer. We will, sometimes on travel days, we will stop for fast food. If we get to, I mean, you know, we get to San Francisco, we're probably going to go to Little Italy and have dinner.
yeah.
I mean, I drive that far. I've got to try some things. Last year we did some seafood up in Seattle.
Right. There's going to be definite things we're going to be like planning to eat out at, but most of the time
But
we're going to be
the
eating
majority we will be eating in. And honestly, we just, when we can, we grill out.
Yep.
I prefer to cook outside the trailer versus inside the trailer.
Well,
so
we
hopefully
like
that.
finding like fresh markets where they have vegetables and
Yes.
fruits and things. We love that kind of thing too.
So hopefully that, Joe, that helps. It,
Yeah.
You know, it just kind of depends on what the purpose of the trip is. So.
All right. From Joyce, says your favorite storage tip, multi-purpose kitchen tool gadget or general multi-purpose general tool used in a small camping.
Oh, well, the storage tip I would say for us is I love bins and things that help you to organize. So we use a lot of little bins and things.
And we use our up space.
Up
With
space.
you like your command
Hooks, anything you can hang, get off the shelf. And then I also use those packing cubes for my clothes.
Yeah, you do that.
I like those. What was the other part of the question? Storage?
Well, multi-purpose kitchen tool or gadget. That would be your new tool, wouldn't it?
Well, it could be, but I don't even know if we'll carry that this summer. But I like, to me, we carry an Instant Pot.
Yeah.
Because that is a very versatile. So I love the Instant Pot because I can make rice. I can make soups in it, quinoa. We can even throw meat. I can buy like a pork loin, throw it in, and we can have pulled pork on the road. So I actually, if you're looking for one device, I like the Instant Pot, and I love my Coleman grill because it's like a 3-in-1.
Yeah.
It's a griddle, a grill, and it's also a cook
use that a
stove.
lot.
Although everybody's telling me you can't find that cook stove grade anymore. I don't know why Coleman quit making that, but so I hope that answers that question. But I would bring a ton of kitchen equipment I could.
I know you
but
would.
because we are in a small trailer, that's why it's basically the microwave, the Instant Pot.
Yeah, that's it.
And that 3-in-1 breakfast, we don't know yet. Yeah, we'll see how storage goes. Okay.
All right, from Bob. I know you don't like to overplan your trips. How do you find a place to stay on a busy summer weekend with no reservation?
We cross our fingers and here's the
last
thing.
summer, for example, when we were out, we used All Stays and Campendium, wasn't it?
We did, and here's the thing, Bob. If we were on an East Coast trip, we could not do what we do on a West Coast trip because out west there are a lot more BLM land and national forest, that type of thing
on the East
to
Coast,
rely on, and there's not. So, and then the other thing was, like, for 4th of July, we ended up booking because we were getting nervous for that. I'm trying to think. So, but in general, the places, and here's my backup, my go-to is Walmart, although there's areas of the country where that doesn't work, Cracker Barrel, but the real backup is Harvest Toast.
That's our new,
So, and we've never been rejected for a Harvest Toast, meaning it's never been like we're full, you can't come.
Right.
So, I think that's our backup. But major holidays, Bob, definitely we book just to be safe. But out west, there's just so many places you can go. And we're just not the campground. I don't want to say we're anti-campground.
No, but we like to be more...
When we can be off.
We go.
Yeah.
So. Okay, from the Great Family Escape, they ask, how far in advance do you plan out your videos? For example, do you plan what videos you're going to do for the next 2 weeks, the next month, etc.? Well, you have been trying the last couple months to really plan ahead.
We're booked all the way through 2021. No, I'm lying, Luke. Trust me.
He's really tried to plan out, what, 3 or 4 videos ahead?
At least, yeah. So what I typically do is I would show you, but it's on my phone, which I'm recording on. I have a note in my iPhone where I have the dates for the whole year listed. And as I get ideas, I plug in those ideas. And sometimes I move them around. But at a minimum, I try to stay planned out 3 to 4 weeks in advance just to have an idea what I'm going. I don't always shoot them 3 to 4 weeks in advance. There are weeks that I have shot them on Sunday afternoon and loaded them Sunday night. But whenever I can. Now, like this summer, it'll be easy because when we're traveling again, you have lots of material. It's these winter months that are tough. So I would say, this is my opinion, and I'm no expert on this, but try to have 3 to 4 ideas. This is what I told my students. Have 3 to 4 ideas always in the works. Always have one video shot that's sitting, loaded, ready to go, but you don't use it unless you absolutely have to. And the reason I like that is in case there's a week where you get sick or something's wrong,
issues going on,
whatever, you have that. That's why last summer we shot the How to Visit a Dump Station, and it was shot in Idaho, and it didn't air until I think when my sister passed away in late August or middle August or somewhere. So, so I try to, if possible, and I'm not going to lie to you, there are times that I don't have that backup video, but when I can. Boy, I am from Indiana.
You are from Indiana,
then I do. So, was that all? Did I answer all?
Yes,
Luke's question?
You did. Yep. Okay, last
Unless
question.
it was the kids asking.
Maybe. Last question from Susan. How did your solar work on your Myrtle Beach trip?
It didn't.
It didn't work.
So there's going to be a video coming probably in the next 3 weeks on the solar system. So what happened was, we didn't think it was working. Steve, our friend from North Carolina, helped me. We tried to figure it out, couldn't figure it out. I accidentally left the manuals for the controllers at home. But then I ended up getting home and confirming it just was not working. I thought it had been working. So then spoke with Austin, who kind of talked me through. And I had at one point, the tab was tore apart. I wouldn't even let Patty go out there.
Like, don't go in
I'm like, just don't go in there.
like,
I had panels off. I mean, our closet was tore apart because the wires run up through the closet. I was checking connections. I thought I had figured it out. I thought there was a bad connection. Still wasn't getting what we should get when I was testing it. And ultimately, I did a little research on my own on YouTube and found out it was wired wrong. So they actually had the wires from the solar panel going into the port labeled load, and it needed to go into the port labeled PV, which is short for photo, some voltaic or something.
I think
like that. Somebody will correct me on that.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So as soon as I moved those wires over, instantly I'm getting solar.
Getting readings,
I was getting readings. Now, still haven't had some real good days to see how well it's going to perform, but at least now it's actually working, and I do have the tab back together so Patty can go in there.
now.
And the reason I said earlier I drilled my first hole, while I had the closet tore apart, I saw where the plug-in is in the bedroom cubby, and so we hang our little hand vac in there, but you could never charge it in there. So what I did was I cheated. I drilled a hole and ran the charging cable through it. So we plug it in there by the bed, but it goes in, and then we can just leave our little hand vac charging.
I don't have to take it out and plug it anywhere else.
And you can't even see the hole because it's up in the cubby, so Patty won't freak out.
You did a good job.
Yeah. So I get weird about putting holes in
I don't like it.
In a $30,000 anything.
Anything.
Yeah. So I'm getting better.
You did well.
I prefer Austin put the holes in.
That's right.
So. All right. Any other questions?
That would be
That was it? We got through them all?
Yeah.
Okay. So hopefully that wasn't too quick for everybody, but I thought there were some good questions there, and I wanted to get through them as quickly as possible and try to get everybody's answers. Okay. Hopefully this video isn't too long because, again, we can't see the time because we're using our wide-angle lens from Moment. If you're interested in those Moment lenses, there is a link down below in the description. Don't forget to go over and check out the Happy Place Diaries. And until next time, everybody, we'll see ya.
On down the road.
Good night. I can't believe he's getting ready to go to sleep.
Yeah, he's tired.
I'm tired, bud.